Michelle King with Michelle King Coaching and the Magicking Center, sharing a little bit more about the evolutionary process today. I'm just so passionate about this. I think this really calls to those who have so much courage and just this undeniable draw or call to inspire greatness within themselves and really, align with their truth, embody the fullest expression of their creative power. And again, that just requires so much courage. And in that, to me, I guess what that represents and what I've experienced in my life is this integration of power. I know I've talked in previous videos about what power means, and to me, that represents consciousness, right? The more we expand in consciousness, the more we integrate our human and spiritual nature, the more we are, centered and balanced in our life. We're able to navigate the highs and the lows and everything in between of our human experience. We are always going to have experiences that challenge us. That is part of life, right? And there are going to be experiences that aren't fair. That's just how it is. That is life. And in that, we get to train our metaphysical power. We get to resource the elements. We get to resource our skills and our intuition. We get to refine all of that and move into the truth of our power to navigate it all. And it begins in consciousness. So it begins in mind. It begins in who we're being. When I say it begins in mind, you can think of it as your state of mind, your position, who you're being. Are you in alignment with your human nature, rooted in lack, rooted in insecurity, rooted in fear, rooted in assumption, based on past experiences? Or are you rooted in your spiritual nature, present, where, power and potential exist? And when I consider presence, what shows up for me is allowance. There's no guard up, right? There's no resistance to the now. There's no resistance to the energy and information that's moving through you, for you, within you and all around you. So being mindful of that as you navigate life and, the evolutionary process. And speaking from experience, when I say, in the past, and when I experienced challenges and heartache and pain and, the unfairness of life, feeling victim to circumstances, it was a struggle. It was really painful. It's really hard. And navigating that from the lower level of mind, my human nature, was hard and restrictive. I didn't have the resources or the knowledge or the practice to even resource the creative intelligence that was available to me. Obviously, all part of my journey and, helping me to discover that within myself. So yay. And that is the value of that, right? It's like we navigate this a little bit blind, and then once we start to discover, our light within ourselves or our power within ourselves, it shifts everything. It shifts who we are. It shifts who we're being. And, when you realize that you have all the resources within you and you learn how to resource them, that is what was so powerful working with my guide and mentor, Simone Wright, is, she helped train me to teach me how to resource those tools and principles, and to be able to consciously and deliberately call on my intuition for guidance. So I had clarity. I could cut through story, which is of our human nature, and align with the energetics of my experiences to move beyond belief, move beyond story, which, as I've mentioned before in previous videos, is all about our position of mind, who we're being, what we're believing, the stories that we're creating, the aspects that we do want to validate or don't, right? And to meet it energetically, that intelligence is quicker anyway than, our human nature, our mind that has to rationalize everything. And that's why sometimes there's conflict between our intuitive knowing and our actual experience. But obviously there's learning on the in between. So it's all essential to our process, and there's no wrongdoing in our experiences of life, excuse me, experiences of life. So, when we start to evolve and merge with our soul nature, we move into allowance, and it's this receptivity, right? This allowance, this ability to navigate it all. And that just comes with experience, that comes with practice. And when we bring consciousness to the evolutionary path, then we don't resist the challenge anymore. We don't always like it. It brings up a lot of the muck, but we understand that as process, and invitation, and opportunity to clear and ultimately integrate those parts of us, so that there is no more resistance with that. And I also wanted to mention that this is an ongoing process. All of our experiences invite us to develop and strengthen those metaphysical muscles. But it doesn't end, right? We just continue to expand. I can recall sharing during the Creating Personal Magic global event last year, how my heart, like it was expanding. I was like, man, I felt like I had so much love, and I didn't know that it could just keep going and keep growing. I thought I had like all this heart energy and stuff, but it does. Just like the evolutionary process, your experience of peace will expand. Your experience of power will expand. Your experience of love will expand. Your experience of gratitude will expand. All of your experiences of life, it will just like fill in that spectrum with expanded levels of potency, right? So yay to all of that. And, when you do bring heightened awareness to this process, your feelings, your emotions, your thoughts, all of that will become, in the forefront. So it will feel a bit more intense, just to let you know, like that is part of the process. And when we start to merge with our soul, we create more space for that energy to move. And when we start to meet it more energetically, it just becomes, an element of an experience, so we move beyond the story of attachment, of trying to figure out the whys, and we notice it more as patterns and experiences, of life. So yay. I just thought I would do a little quick share about that, that this process is ongoing. It's always unfolding. It's always expanding. We just get to, further refine and develop the inner knowing and the integration process of, mastery and magicking. So yay. I'm so celebrating you wherever you are on the mastery and magicking path for evolutionary wellness. If you have any questions or interested in coaching, let me know. I am offering one-on-one mastery and magicking, as well as a new group program coming up this fall. So if you are interested in exploring with others in a 3-month sacred container, space is limited. Check out my website at themagickingcenter.com/group, and you will find more information there. Make sure to register so you are on the list, and will receive the application to apply. All right, thanks so much for joining me today. Remember, you are the source of your love, power, and truth.